Hello everyone, welcome back to today's video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Joey and this is my YouTube channel, Burtoni Motors, a place where I get to talk about cars, motorcycles, and basically if it's got wheels and an engine, probably going to talk about it. Behind me is my 2022 Ford Bronco Big Bend with the Sasquatch package. I'm getting ready for a 4,000 mile road trip from Michigan out to Colorado and Utah, California, and back again in the next I'm leaving next week. In preparation for that, I've had to do a few things to get the vehicle ready for this trip. One of them is getting roof rails on top so I can put my bike on it. And now I need to install a rough country reinforcement kit for the back tire. Why? Because I have ordered an American Expedition Lab, something like that. I'll put the name on it. Carrier on the back of this that basically adds a shelf that straps to the back of the tire, and I want to make sure that whatever I put on that is going to be, securely loaded properly and safe and all of that. So I'm gonna have to take this wheel off. I'm gonna have to put this new reinforcement kit on it. The new wheel it changes the placement a little bit, a little stronger structure and all of that. So let's jump into this project. Should only take probably maybe 30 minutes or so of my time plus filming, so hopefully I'll get you guys a nice 10-minute or so video. So let's jump in. So step one here is to remove this rear wheel. I've got a lock on the back of it that came with this kit. Just gonna use the breaker bar that comes with it. This goes right there. I'm gonna show you guys what it's gonna look like. Now that that's off, we want to pry this plastic piece off. Basically just shove a fingernail underneath the bottom, kind of work your way through it. So now that this is off, we want to unplug the tail light. Then we need to see this white plastic piece, this wire grommet. We push in these tabs and push through. And just like that, we can remove the wires from the door. All right, now you need to get a 13 millimeter. And there's 8 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's basically gonna pop all of this off. All right, these next few steps are a bit different. So I need to basically block this bottom part off by shoving this in. I did the same thing on the left side. The instructions were to put a piece of plastic through the door. I don't understand what that means, so I'm hoping this is the best. And then they wanted to tape this for realignment issues. Make sure it's easy. So let's try that. Put that there. I'm going to put that there. All right, with a T45, take these 4 bolts off. Now that everything is kind of situated, hopefully the door is not going to move. I feel very weird. Since this is already painted red, I don't want to scratch anything. All right, so 6 millimeter bolts, bolt, washer, and then it's gonna go through the piece of metal, and then this little rubber or this plastic thing is gonna sit into here, and then all of that needs to be screwed in to the tailgate, which is already shifted enough that I know that this is going to be more difficult than it needs to be. So I'd also already recommend that this be a 2-person job because this is pretty heavy. All right, so I got this installed, this part on the latches, but now here's the issue. When I open it, it wants to jump up on the left-hand side and not close properly. It's better now, but I loosened these up to see if that would help. I'm thinking once I add the tire onto this, that weight is going to drop this side down, the entire thing, just enough that it's easily going to latch. That's where I'm at now. All right, these 4 are attached. Called some of my more automotive savvy friends, and they think once the wheels, or once the tire and the wheel are on this, everything is going to line up better just because it needs that extra weight. Now we have this relocation kit, which basically goes right on top of it. All of the bolts should align. They supplied bolts with it. You just need to grab them. $13mm, the 8 same bolts. Oh, this is the stock tile carrier, right? These had a few clips on them. They're clipped up like that to be safe. To give a little more flexibility with this, we're gonna unclip this one and we're gonna reinstall it. The reason why we want to give it a little more give room, I don't know, yeah, a little more give, is because we just added the 1.5 inches on here, and it'd be nice to finagle it how we need it to be. The stock bolts to reattach the carrier. I don't think that's right, and here's why. There's no bolt for the back of this, right? It bolted straight into the door itself, the hinge, or the gate. So in this package are 8 bolts with washers and nuts, and it makes more sense to use this than it would this. So I'm gonna go ahead and use 2 13s, one of them wrench boys, one of them socket boys, and tighten up the 8 wrenches around that, and I feel like we're on our home stretch. So let's get going. Everyone, so last night I got a little too tired. The sun went away, it was too dark. I don't really have a lot of lights in my backyard, and my Bronco is obviously too big to fit in my garage where I have a lot of lights. So I called it quits. This morning's gonna be super simple. We basically have like 5 more bolts left to put on, to reconnect the wiring harness, and then throw the spare tire back on, and then we're done. A lot of learnings. We'll talk about that later. So let's just jump in and let's get this done. All right, so went through everything, applied a little bit of Loctite to some of the bolts that I'm like worried about. I probably should have added Loctite to all of them. Mistakes were made. From there, we're going to reattach the wiring harness. So remember when we pop this bad boy off, this basically is just going to be able to push through. You want to make sure that this cable isn't kinked while we do it. And we took one of the clips off that were attached to the inside, since we now have like stretched the cable a little farther because the like 2.5 inch plate is now in the way. So this just basically gets pushed through, easy peasy. And then from there we need to go inside and we need to reconnect the camera and the brake lights. We reinstall this little plate. Which also, this is a lot of space back here. I don't know if I'm gonna put my toolkit back here. There's just like a lot of space. I need to put something back here. Hop on to the right and the left. All right, home stretch. This is done. Let's get the tire back onto it, and then let's talk through some learnings. Okay, so this is done. In reality, this should have took maybe an hour. It ended up taking me about 2.5 hours just because I spent about 50 minutes trying to realign this with one person. If you had 2 people, I think it'd be much easier to do this because you'd have someone who could like be on this side of the tailgate once everything was off and pushing against the hydraulic strut that's at the bottom. That hydraulic strut gave me a lot of issues just trying to align these bolts. That being said, that's my only advice. Do this with 2 people. You should easily be able to get this done in well under an hour if you've got the 2 people. The instructions that Rough Country provided were pretty good. There was like one thing where it told you to use the stock bolts when in reality they supply the bolts. You figure that out. There's 8. It just makes sense. Overall, I'm happy with the quality. It seems very well made. The welds are good, strong. You know, this kit was only like $200 or so. And I needed something to reinforce the tailgate because of that shelf that I'm putting on top of this to get this vehicle ready. But that's it for right now, guys. Hopefully this video was useful. I'm sorry it was a bit all over the place. These videos, I'm basically learning as I go, and that's kind of the fun of it. So, made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and more Bronco content coming, like a lot. There's like, I've got easily like 8 or 9 videos that I've already shot. I just need to like edit and upload. And unfortunately, that has not been my priority over the last few days. I've been basically trying to get taxes done and get ready for this trip out to Moab. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Bye.